Me every moment. Me. Begs the question, who am I? Of course. And it's never simple. You know? If you're simple to figure out, okay. You probably wouldn't have found me. I don't know. Am I so simple? I'm just going to pretend that there's only one perspective on everything. So, who am I? Hayom Yom, yesterday is a Yom Yom. It cites the Zayar that there's 4 names for man. Good morning. Who are you? It's not simple to the Zayar who you are, or Hayom Yom for what? Dalid Tammuz, I think it was. Dalid Elul, rather. I think it was yesterday, right? But I didn't get to speak about it because I had other things on my mind. But today, I looked up this Zayar, okay? It's interesting in a Yom Yom, you gotta look it up. It's awesome. But, you know, you can get that in so many places. I wanted to give you some background on this Zayar that it stems from. It says, Tano Bekama Dargin Iskre Barnash. There are many levels associated with man and different words given to define that aspect of him. Adam Gever Anish Ish. Adam, okay, he has no translation really. Man. Gever, dude, I don't know, Gibor. Anish, Ish with a nun, right? Anish, it means he's lacking. It's a different order, I think, in a Yom Yom. Anish is last because it's the lowest. It's someone who's lacking, it says in a Yom Yom. And then there's an Ish, someone who has either emotional attributes refined, like a good character, he's a great person, or an Adam. Oh no, he could have the aspect of an Adam, which is to have intellect. But he might be lacking in one of the two. And it's just lacking everything, right? If I'm getting it right. Anyways, we're going to look that up in Hayom Yom. But there's an Ish, and the word Ish is fascinating in Kabbalah. We're going to get into that. So, I wanted to talk about the words we began with here before we get into this, the 4 levels of who you are. Because, okay, we're getting into a fascinating conversation there. Please God, we come from the Zayar. But the original idea was being me at that moment is really the only, every moment me, or me every moment, that was what I said. If you're me every moment, that is actually meant here in an ethical way. So there's 2 ways that ethics is sort of applied. There's one as your dominant values, you know, your code of life. Okay, that's an intellectual process that it's from experience. It unfolds through your experience and your wisdom that you acquire through years. That's like an ideal. And then there's your mindset, how you apply that ideal. So, if you think about the ethical issues, so you're responsible to come up with a good system of ethics, but how are you going to apply that every single moment? Sometimes you'll just say, you know what, I was too tired to act morally in this case. It was too difficult for me. I couldn't put up that fight. I didn't have the energy to do it. So that doesn't uproot your core beliefs. It just means you're lazy, or you let a ruch shtus get in, or however you want to understand our folly. Good morning. So now that I used the unusual, archaic word folly, we might as well say another place we're going with this. If this is the fascinating idea that's going to find expression in this conversation, are we Ish, are we Adam? Who are we? Are we Ish or Behema? Are we Adam or Behema? There's verses in Tehillim that liken us Adam to a Behema. You know, they juxtaposed. So therefore, you're supposed to consider the difference and therefore the likeness of the two. And in fact, we have them in the Chayas HaKodesh, which is cited here in the Zayar. The Chayas HaKodesh have a man's face, but it has a man's face can sometimes appear taking on the attributes of various animals, be it a lion, an ox, or an eagle. Those are you have the king of the jungle, king of the domestic world, and king of the birds. Which birds, I think, include fish, incidentally, because they came from the swamp, which has water. Right? So here it says, the Zayar begins with this idea. I know I didn't finish finish the idea that I said before about me every moment. Okay, we'll have to come back to that, because I just can't resist diving into this, because I was speaking about Shlomo Melech the other day, right, in a very unusual way, because I'm questioning, like, Shlomo Melech, 1,000 wives, what are you doing? What are you thinking? So the Zohar has the same attitude towards a different issue. He says, he goes on, and this is the words of Koheles, okay, this is really, okay, but you gotta understand who Koheles is. What is Koheles? Ecclesiastes. You have to come up with such a fancy term. Why? Because the word Koheles, okay, if it's Latin or I don't know what, Ecclesiastes. Sounds a bit Greek, actually. Koheles? You know how many names Shlomo Melech had? He had 7 names. It represents 7 levels of his wisdom that he attained, 7 crowns that he had. His name was Shlema Yedidei Agar Ben Yaka Lemuel Isiel Koheles. The highest of all is Koheles. That's when he reached the final level of wisdom. He became Koheles, master of all wisdom. King. The word Koheles, I think, is associated with kingship. And what does this wise person tell us? Wisest of all men, right? The Torah teaches us the Tanakh. I Koheles. I. What do you mean, Reisiani? He repeats the word I saw I. I. It's all about me. Shlomo Melech, 1,000 wives, all about me. He didn't put them in the stables, okay? He had relationships with 1,000 people. It's not appropriate for a tzaddik to have a relationship if he didn't have a relationship. So I understand it. He had relationships with 1,000 people. Okay, I spoke about that the other day. I think that's fascinating. But here we're talking about the same personality. And what's his big wisdom? I think it's better to be wise than foolish. Okay, so this idea of folly we're talking about again. That's his great wisdom in Koheles. He had to climb the... It goes on and on. Like, I could sit here for a half an hour, I think, describing how he achieved so many levels of wisdom and all this. It's beautiful words, but there's other beautiful words that I'm trying to get to. Because the whole point of this will blow your mind. If you stay here to the end, if we get to the end of my coloring book today, you know, the Zohar in full Technicolor Zohar. That's what my Zohar looks like. Well, it's just one color. I try to keep it one color so it doesn't look like, I don't know, alphabet cereal. That would be weird. Oh, not alphabet, that's or what do they call it? I mean, there's another one. With all the colors, Fruit Loops, I don't know. Okay. So after we finish saying how great he is, and this is his wisdom, I mean, I'll get some of the words here that they say. If I can get some of the words here to describe when they're perplexed over I saw Koheles, and the other people didn't know this, that it's better to be wise than a fool. Even the biggest fool that never acquired any wisdom any day of his life knows it's better to be wise than foolish. He has his own system, his code of values, right? Okay, there we go back to the idea of who am I? I'm a system of rules and laws and values. But then there's a me every moment. If you have integrity, the me of every moment reflects perfectly the me of your value system. And yeah, it takes compassion into, okay, I'm a bit tired, so I'm not gonna wear a gartel when I say Kriyash Malamita. Okay. Sometimes that happens. Don't be an idiot. You gotta know yourself. That's the rule number 1. You want to be a balabayas? Know yourself. Know thyself. Okay, that's just a taste of their tone in talking about Shlomo Melech. So I have a source for that. My question the other day, I think it was yesterday, about 1,000 wives. But anyways, this same person tells you that there's 7 havalim. There's 7 vanities, vanity of all vanities. He goes on all about vanity, hevel, which means breath. So he goes, there's a supernal breath also. In that you draw in your soul. I think it says, Let me just see if I could find that highlighted on the English version of this. Okay, and I don't think I have it. Anyways, it's beautiful how it speaks about that. Here it is. Okay, it gets talking about the Havalim, and what did it create? It created people, man lives off what comes out of Hashem's mouth. What comes out of Hashem's mouth? This is the supernal breath, and you draw this into you when you're living in the moment, right? When your integrity extends to the moment as well as just your grand plans of what's great and worthy. So he says, from the foolishness itself comes the benefit talasa l'chochmasa of wisdom. You see, it doesn't even say see. In the sickles mamish it says. The actual foolishness, from there comes the wisdom. What does that mean? If you didn't have foolishness in the world, I think malva means to speak, I'm not sure. You will not know, wisdom will not be known or articulated in the world. And it's a positive obligation for a person to enter the world of yin-yang, of a hierarchy, of a highest and lowest. It's a mitzvah to get into that mindset in order to see one from the other. To learn from a little bit of foolishness, and to know it. And to know, I think it's saying the chokhmah from that little bit of shtus that you're exposed to. In other words, to compare. You don't appreciate what it's like. Okay, we're going to give examples. It's awesome. Begin to asse ta'alasa l'chokhmasa begine, kama de asyal ta'alasa l'neira mechashecha. To whatever extent there's this difference, this contrast of light and darkness is the greater wisdom that will come out of it. There's the William Blake source, okay? Lahavdil. Without darkness, you can't know light. And the world will have no benefit from it. It says if you're going to light a candle in daylight, in this broad sunlight, it's meaningless. And that's like with like. That's light with light. Same genre, if you will. But here we're talking about further extreme, and that's where real wisdom comes out. When you compare light to darkness and wisdom to folly. And it goes on with beautiful language about this, and it gives it many examples, and that's when we get to the conversation of Adam or Ish. Which is Moshe Rabbeinu? Is he an Ish? Adam, Moshe, Ish, Moshe, we say? Hashem Ish Milchama, what is God? Ish Milchama? Or is he Adam a Yeshiv al Akisei? V'ad Musik Akisei Dmus Kimara Adam, it says. Is he an Adam or an Ish? We call them both. Kizeh Ish Moshe. Adam Kiyeh V'er B'sarei. What? Someone's going to have leprosy on their skin, and Adam, the highest of all? Okay, that's the word for nega is eineg. There's a pleasure associated with the suffering of the nega, of the blemish or the affliction. You know? Mashiach is called a Metzira. Here, in the concept of Metzira, means he's so eager to redeem the Jewish people. Because he's a special type of Metzira. But to be a Metzira, to be a leper, it requires an Adam, the highest of all. It's related to wisdom, which is a defining term of a human being. The word Adam is gender unspecific and singular. Every person represents the shleimness of an Adam, which we're going to get to. The Zohar refers to it. It says, Adam dahave klola v'shleimusa dachela. Adam is the general and all-encompassing and perfection of everything. That's an Adam. Are you an Adam? Wouldn't that be awesome? Or are you like Moshe? Are you Kizeh Moshe Ha'ish? The Zohar asks, "Am I Leikra Adam? Why isn't he called a man?" We say man is the perfection. Who could be more perfect than Moshe? Lived 120 years, perfect life, day to day. 7th of Adar. Amar lei mishum de'akre eved lemalka. The reason why he's called an ish is because he's a slave, a servant, a subject of the king. Diksiv loichen avdi Moshe, not so my servant Moshe, my eved. So he's called an eved, and Moshe avdi in Yeshua, it says also. So when we refer to Moshe as an ish, it exists within a context. In the context of the discussion of ish, how can we call Moshe ish? He's a perfection of everything. He includes everybody. 600,000 legs, and I am among them, meaning that all the people are included within him. He's like this man with 600,000 legs. He includes everybody. It's the Shlomo Melech. I have to marry 1,000 wives. That's what I was speaking about yesterday. That was just my own idea. I don't know if it's true. It just seems to work. So when we compare Moshe to the supernal man, he's an ish. Ish means a servant, someone who is in a subservient position. And no, he's not ashamed to be subservient. There's no shame. He was a king. No. Vayihi b'Shurin Melech. There wasn't Yeshurun a Melech. Yeshurun was the name of the Melech. Isn't Moshe the one who was called? And Rashi says it there. So when we call Moshe an ish, that's legabe, in comparison to Adam de Le'ela. He exists within a world that has God in him. Yes, he exists within another world, another concept. What's the word? A spectrum, or where there is a body, a head, legs, a body, a stature, and in that context, he's Adam to the Jewish people. He's the leader, the Melech. But when he comes to Hashem, Malchus has two aspects. Malchus receives from, as a recipient. It's the very receiving vulnerable positions, the Eved. I'll do whatever you say, Master. So first we're introducing, what is Shlomo teaching us? By saying, it's better to be better to be wise than a fool. Okay, thank you, Shlomo. I need Shlomo Malch to tell me that. Thank you. Every idiot knows that. That's what it says in the Zohar. I'm not saying anything bad about Shlomo Malch. I'm just quoting the Zohar. That he's called Kalas. I am the one who saw this great thing. Nobody else could have figured that out. No, because it's telling you that one comes out from the other. You have to taste one to know that. In fact, it says, a man doesn't know what's sweet until he tastes bitter. If you grow up in the palace, you taste the burning coals before you can appreciate what real kingship means. When you're going to speak and lead men, he eats the coals, the burning coals. It's not about his desire for money. Okay, Amalek had to do it to him because he was a child. Okay, he was a perfect child. He spoke. He was a perfect infant. He spoke when he was, from the cradle. He spoke. So why was he desiring them? We have to look into that. That's pretty interesting. But then it takes a malach, some forces, some aspect of him that was higher, that was finding expression, So he had the ish there. And he had the adam guiding him in the form of a malach, who shifted his hand over to the coals, the burning coals, and he puts in his mouth. One has to be wise to know it as a fool. Okay, so you're saying, how could this person even know to be wise to notice the fool? So it takes wisdom even before you can start this process of comparing it. Okay, so if so, then it seems like unfair. Why would we have to start? Then you have this power given to you from the Torah. Here, with the fact that we're learning about it, that gives you power to be able to start the process. It's the wisdom that it's a gift from God. So we have that power. It's like an Elul now. The king is in the field. That gives you power. So if you know the king's in the field, guess where I'm going? Concerts in the field. Yeah, I'm there. Concerts in the field with the king. He didn't bring his entourage with him. Okay, the entourage is also in disguise. Fair enough. He's got his golf shoes on. Man avid lahai metzika What caused the sweetness? Have'emer ha'marira. Okay, there's an aspect of God, yes, that's above all binary opposites, okay? There is such a thing. This is talking about a certain darga. When we're speaking about Adam, the shlemus of everything, the perfection of everything, you need nothing. Nothing. But there is an aspect of an ish that exists at some level. In fact, God created it. The perfection of the world was only when God created man. Okay, that's what we're going to learn over here. I'm jumping around a bit, but I think it has some flow still. So we say Adam, me, is the fullness of everything. When is God? When is, we call there's Adam Le'ela, there's a supernal man. That man represents the completion of everything. Okay, it happens to have the form of a man. You don't like that? I don't know. That's our Torah, we say that. But B'Tselem, why is man special? Kadosh Shekulam Adam Deksiv V'Yivra Elokim Es HaAdam B'Tzalmai. B'Ksiv B'Tselem Elokim Asa Es HaAdam. We were made in the image of God. What's the image of God? God made a circle. God made a body. Right? It's the Leonardo da Vinci's man, like in a circle. And that's pretty interesting. The circle represents the inclusion of all aspects. Okay, then there's a configuration as a part. So if the parts of Adam, the configuration of his face or his whole body, his stature, is comprised of 10 aspects that they comprise all the limbs of the body. So that is in the context of, when you look at a parts of, when you're going to recognize difference within the general, then you see that it contains aspects which define the idea of shleimus. God said perfection is going to constitute of 10 aspects. That's our religion. That's what we believe. And when is God called whole? It's as it's written when God is in his throne. When God's on his throne, that's the completion of him. It doesn't say when he's like a full body. There's some aspect of God that he has to do, so to speak. He has to sit down. It's not very hard to do it. It's like a natural thing. I want to direct it. That's my drive. That's what's driving me, God say. Okay, we have our own drive. What do we want? Lachzais b'nayim Hashem. You want beauty. The nayim actually means beauty of sound. That's the word nayim, means speech. Lachzais b'nayim Hashem. That's what we get out of the deal we were teaching in the last few days. We haven't taught that. That's what we get out of the bargain of the partnership and creation. Okay, what is our partnership and creation? What is the source of this? The Ksiv Kuchabriku B'Kursaya has to do with God's throne. That's when he attains fullness, when he's sitting on his throne. The Ada like Yassi B'Kursaya, until God sits on his throne, says the Zayar. It's Tazriya Mem Ches, okay? Amud Aleph. Loi Ishtachach Shleimusa. His Shleimus is not present. So there's an aspect of God that's obviously, when he's sitting on the throne, that's this perfection of everything. But until then, or when he's not, or there's an aspect of God that Davka doesn't. It says God's throne is not complete until the Yudke goes to the Vavke, and that happens when we uproot a Malak, which is Gematria, a Safek, or Safek, or Safek. Doubt. A Malak is doubt. So when you uproot that brings godliness into that's faith. That you bring godliness into the world. I know that I'm being directed by God. Every instance, every circumstance, every twist and turn in my life, God's guiding me by the hand. That's a faith, and you're becoming Adam, or you're on the path to become an Adam. Which if you look at Hayom, it means something very specific. So we have a verse. We know this from a verse in Yechezkel. On the image of his throne was the appearance of an image of man. Alav milmaila upon it. Mashman eksiv Adam dehu chalav shleimusa dechalav. Meaning, the fact that it says Adam here is why we call God an Adam. It's because he represents the completion of everything. There's a level of God I was saying before, but I didn't say the words. That's called Loy Adam. He's not a man. Loy Adam to take bribes. I think it says. I don't know. I can't remember the exact verse. So, but there's a verse I think it's Chumash that says he's a Loy Adam. He's not a man. That's a higher level of total unity. Only God. Ein al mavade, okay? But we speak about God, especially in Kabbalah, in terms of different levels. So there's a level of Adam that's sitting on that throne, and that Adam that's not sitting on the throne. Before he he sat on the throne, it says here. V'amar Rabbi Yehuda Baruch Rachmana Eshtachich Lach B'hai. Blessed is the merciful one that is found in that state. That when he's on his throne. But sometimes we call the Shem Ish Milchama. He's a man of war. And this is fascinating. Amar le Ye'us Shalasa. Ask your question. The sages teach me that there's a level of God that's called Ish that doesn't have his ultimate perfection and wholeness. And that's when he's called Ish. So in each case, he calls Hashem something different. In one context, you call him Adam and sometimes Ish. He says, your teaching is better to me, the teachings of your mouth, than thousands of gold and silver coins. To Amar Le, he said further, Adam behema lake siv, v'lake siv ishu behema. It says Adam behema, it doesn't say ishu behema. It says man and behema. Amar Le, v'lei hak siv, lam ish v'ad behema. We have a verse that says from man to behema. It says the word ish there, not just Adam. So we do have it. Avamadik siv Adam behema. So why does it in one case say Adam behema? What's the point there? Kamadik siv. It says in Malachim, min ha'eretz asher b'vanan ad ha'ezlam asher yetzi b'kir orchei dekra hu denaket Allah nekalhu namnech mekalhu. Okay, we have a pasuk that says from the cedar tree until the ezev. The myrtle branch. What is an ezev? I forget exactly. I think it's myrtle branch, right? It's things used in purifying. Okay, and if something fascinating about purifying, that the process of purifying, I think here it's talking about tumas mace. But to get the tuma away, it requires the articulation of a kayan, ish chesed. He's an ish. And he must, the ish, what does he do? He proclaims things to be tahar. And if they have suspicion of being tameh. So they had the suspicion from the tuma. There's a verse that says this. I think it's on the next page. I don't want to lose my place here, but it says, okay. It says, begin kach ikritar, delay ikritar elakad nafik mesitra de mesava. Nothing is called pure until it emerges from the sitra de mesava. Mesava, I think, means evil, okay? The side of evil. It has to emerge from the side of evil. It had some suspicion about being tameh, and then it's proclaimed to be tahor. V'kach nafik min mesava ikritar. Diksiv mi'eten tahor matama. Who is going to give purity mitmeya from its being tameh? Mitmeya vadai. Literally, it means that it was tameh from the tuma. That's what causes the Torah, the purity. It's a pasuk in Eov. Mi'eten tahor tama. I don't know exactly. Tama. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. Right? V'hachak v'ish ki yimaret reishe keraku tahor. Okay, then it goes on about when it starts talking butzine dekad nisa. Okay, that's a bit tough. The lamp, I think it is. The forehead like a lamp, I think it's saying something like that. Okay. So we learned here that Shlomo Melech, we need the Koheles to teach us this. That from the Tumah comes the Tara. I think it's also in the context of a contract that was disputed and affirmed is a stronger contract. It has a higher halachic status. The status of it was in question. Maybe it was falsely signed or something, but then they have to go through all the kinds of proofs. And once that's done, it has a higher halachic status of validity. He validated that more than something that had not been challenged. So you have the same idea of from the question, from the suspicion of the Tumah, or maybe from the Tumah itself, it's purified through a process, and then it's proclaimed at a certain point by the Kayan, the Ish Chesed, the man of benevolence. He pronounced it. He has the power to be an Ish. An Ish means to have the power to overcome the darkness, the Gvura of the world. The Gever is someone who's a Gvura. He has to have the Gvura to be able to become an Ish, right? Or ultimately an Adam. An Ish has one of the attributes, either Midas or wisdom, I think. The Gever is one. Okay, no, I said that wrong. Adam has wisdom. The Ish has midas, a good personality, right? The Gibor is one who has attained one of the two, either wisdom or emotional strength of character. Enosh is someone who's lacking in everything. He hasn't attained anything. He's just a big lack, big work in process. So we say you don't know bitterness until, sweetness rather, until you've tasted bitterness. So it says here that what causes it to be sweet? Have Eimer, have Marira. Hi Marira. I say from this, it's the bitterness that causes there to be sweetness. How does this apply in your day-to-day life? Okay, so I'm going to liken your ideal world to this world where you're an Adam. The Shleimus is nothing lacking. It's a perfect, you have your ideals, you have your priorities, you have your value system, right? It's your system of, it's your mindset. Everything to you. That's when it's just recognize an ideal. And an ideal itself, where is it derived from? The ideal. It's from law. I said before, it has lots to do with your experience. When you experience things, you have the ups and downs of life, you see what you attach value to. It requires a bit of living in the moment before you could come up with these ideals. The ideals exist, they existed before you were even born, right? But you're discovering them. It's a process. It's from the interact with the world. We have habits that derive our daily and moment by moment interactions and decisions also. And we're spontaneous and we have all that. That's all like encoded in us from previous experiences also. It doesn't necessarily reflect our ideal. So when we enter the world of experience, of the ups and downs, the tribulations, the vicissitudes of life, that's what actually creates, in a sense. So how could that be if they existed before me? In a primordial sense, does it really come out of one, comes out of the other? Or is it just already experientially? It says, Man avid lahai masika have aimer. It says, I say. Seems to be has to do with the perspective. From the human perspective, one comes out of the other. It's the experiences. You don't have to have experience from experiencing something. You can have experience from learning and trusting. That's what Koheles was all about. We said that the other day, the simple understanding of why he did what he did, which was marry 1,000 women, having stables like Shane Kamayev. I mean, the women weren't in the stables, but he had stables. He had a table with like tens of thousands of people every day, and lots of mashed potatoes and herring. I don't know, lots of stuff. He had a lot of stuff. It goes on there to describe all the things, so look it up. It doesn't say herring. So I would say when it says in the words, and I'm darshaning the Zohar, okay? It says, man avid lahai masika, what caused this? Is there a platonic form of sweetness that exists in heaven? Say there's no sweetness on earth that doesn't come down from the tapuchim l'melmaila, the sweetness. It's an example the Friedrich Rebbe gives, the previous Baruch Rebbe, but the sweetness of an apple. There's different levels of pleasure you have, but it comes from a spiritual source. So it comes from there. But man avid lahai masika, what caused this sweetness? Havi aimer. I'm going to say, because there's an I that exists in this world, and my experience and what makes me up and my perspective valuable and important even to God is what I see and say, therefore. Havi aimer haimerira. In my world of experience, of the ups and downs of life, I know good because of the difficulties in life. And that makes your challenges and the impact that they had, that you could trophy them like battle scars, not just wounds that make you ugly. The battle scars that constitute a greater beauty. Like, are you a sweet tooth person, or you like that bitter thing, or sharp thing that's got sweetened up a bit, or flavored in such a way that's geschmack? There's two types of pleasures, right? Not madani. What's the word? I keep forgetting this every time I want to say it. Madanis? No, I don't know what it's called. There's two things you present before Hashem. What do we say in Tefillah? We say, I can't remember right now. But there's two types. Tanya speaks about two types of the sweet things that you present as like a delicious delicacy, like dessert, for example, or sweet meat. I don't know, shmaka teriyaki steak. I don't know. And then there's the spicy things. That's a different flavor altogether, and that's from you have bitter things in life and just spice it up a bit and present it in a nice way. And I like a chef who knows how to use a lot of spices, right? There's my Yossi Stein's Three's Company memorabilia. I like a chef who knows how to use a lot of spices. He said, okay, so spices means you take the ebb and flow, the challenges, the slip-ups in your life, and you just gracefully, when it says that the best jazz musicians best know, I think Miles Davis said this, a good jazz musician takes his wrong notes and make them sound right. I'm trying to do that because I make a lot of wrong notes. So if you're clever, you make that wrong note, the one that was out of key or whatever, you just segued into something else. Or a ballet dancer or an acrobat who's about to trip up, carry yourself out of that somehow, or like what's it called when you're skating? Figure skating. So that's the way I'm going to answer this. You have the Adam, you have the Shleimus. Maybe that's why we're talking about later, the different aspects and different word contexts. We have different relationships. Adam is the singular and gender unspecific because it contains both sides, the right and the left. And v'yafak b'apav nishmas chayim, v'rucha d'smala iskre nefesh chaya. Oh, so it says here, v'rucha d'mina iskre nishmasa kadisha. On you have two aspects. You have the right and you have the left. The Adam contains both. What is he? He's an neshama. That's the right. V'yafak b'apav nishmas chayim, right? Nishmas chayim. God blew it into our nostrils. V'rucha d'smala iskre nefesh chaya. But the ruach, the spirit, there's the soul, the neshama, and there's the ruach. That's the left side. And that's called in the Torah nefesh chaya. You have nishmas adam, nishmas chayim, and you have nefesh chaya. Okay, Torah recognizes both. And both of them together, both sides constitute completion. Ha'gufa de adam b'dechero v'nukva v'syilidu ba'alma. I didn't say a few words. Vischabru b'hagufa de Adam. They joined together in the man of Adam. Before Chava was separated out from man, ki mi'ish lezais yikara isha ki mi'ish lukacha zais. The whole concept of isha only happens after there's an ish, from the ish. So creation was, did I get to those words? That the creation wasn't complete until God's throne was complete. And that completion of God's throne was with the creation of man. So man represents God's full state of completion. When's God in Adam? When he has on his throne. What is the throne associated? The creation of man. That happened on the sixth day. Because man has six havalim, and then there's the seventh. Okay, I forget exactly. We could go on and read all this. It's awesome. But it's not going to be today. But this part, as much, as we're finding it, before that they were together. Before that they were already joined. The Adam represents that joint, that perfection in yourself. You have both aspects. Urzul tzaddik, the nekeva is always available to the tzaddik. The level of the person that's the neshama of the person, the Adam of the person. That's when you have both. Before there's a separation. Once you have a separation, then you're an ish until you get the isha. And then we learned in the Zohar like a few days ago that you have a physical matronesa in the world, and you have a spiritual celestial partner, it refers to in the translation I read of the Zohar. Okay, that's basically the idea. Okay, there's a lot of other things I wanted to say, but I think that was pretty heavy. I know we got 4 people. Maybe we'll talk later if anyone has anything to say. Unless you're driving or like juggling torches. It goes on more to explain about how the purity comes out of the impurity in terms of taras, different forms of it. But that's basically, I think that we covered it. So why do we have to say Adam and Behema? Because you're going to get the whole spectrum. Okay. I don't know if that came over properly. Oh, so Hashem's form isn't complete until man was created. Yitzhar Hashem Elokim es Adam Hashem Male Kama de Ukimna de Ihu Shleimusa de Chela V'Klala de Chela V'Shisha Nivra Adam. Okay, here's the part I was saying before. That man was created on the sixth day. B'Shah Shenishlam HaKisei. At the moment when the throne was completed, that's when he was created. On the sixth day. V'Nikra Kisei de Ksi. Why is it called Kisei? Associated with six, the completion of God's throne, God's completion when he's in Adam, when he's sitting on the throne. Well, I guess that happened. Sitting on the throne probably happened when Adam crowned him king. Sheish Malis Kisei. When, because Adam bowed down, he got everyone to bow down before God. I wonder if that's when it happened. On the Shishi, you have the moment where he was created. Did he sit down on the throne until before? Probably not. Until it says, there's one of the verses it brings is, Adam Ayin, there was no man there to work the garden. So it says Adam Ayin, there's no Adam. So that's when there's an Ish, there's Adam Ayin. And it's also, there's a level of Hashem that's called Lei Adam, Adam Ayin. Okay, so that's another, resonates with that idea. So it says that a kisei, why is a kisei associated with the sixth? Sheish Mailis the kisei, it says in Malachim. There's 6 steps to the throne. That's why man was created on the 6th day. Because the Adam, man, in this world, and the supernal man above, all are intended. The highest level of humanity, when a person expresses the integrity in all ways throughout his entire being, and has the completion of everything, that's someone who's Roy Le Shevel Akise. Vetana Kevan de Nivra Adam Esaken Kela. That it's taught that when Adam was created, everything was corrected. And everything is included within man. Above and below, everything is included within man. Then it speaks about Yechezkel's Malach, it has the animal faces. Maybe I'll just read that from the English, it'll be a little easier. I think I had that part. It did a really beautiful translation. I could find it again. Rabbi Yossi said the Chayas which Yechezkel saw all had the form of man. But said Rabbi Yehuda, it is written, in the face of an eagle, in the face of a lion, etc. He replied, all had the face of man, but in this face itself was seen the resemblance of an eagle, etc. All the animals. In this man, it contained everything. Okay, so Rabbi Isaac said, Rabbi Yitzchak, observe that whoever is under the control of Adam is called Ish. It uses the word, I looked up in the original, it's shalata or shalita. It has to do with dominion over another. That's called the person who's under the control of the Adam. In Avdi Maisha, the Ish Maisha, that's someone who's under the authority and the shlita of Adam. And it speaks about 2 spirits. So the neshama represents that aspect of you that you want to rule you, the Adam in you. Okay. Goes on and on and on and on. It's awesome. If we only can do so much a day, right? Oh, it's beautiful, this part here. I'll just read some of this. Okay, no, I'm not going to say that. That was awesome. Thank you for joining me. Dance through it. I should open up a yeshiva and a dance studio, eh? Good morning and have a great day, everyone. 9:53, we ended a bit early. We woke up really early, didn't we? Maybe I'll just say a little bit more of this Yom Yom that This is actually from a Sefer Ba'er Shemus Hanir Dafim. Okay, it's by someone named Shlomo Aaron Verteheimer. Mevar Teichen Kol Echad Metarm. He describes each of these four words. Adam Hashem Achim U'Ula. It's the highest of all names. Kedei Gam Zayar Sham. He quotes the Zayar that I looked up. Okay, that's how I found it. So I'm in debt to this Talmud Chacham that says this. So Adam is a Shem Achim U'Ula, Shem Ha'etzim Shel Adam Arishon. That's his proper name. Hu Neisim Tamid B'Lashon Yachid. It's always singular. Gam Harbe Nashim Machonim Adam. Many people are also called Adam. One man. Yikras Shem Adam. Shefek Dama Adam. Here's means in the plural, but it's said in the singular. Ki Shem Ha'etzim Ha'Mailishal Hamin Hanushi. This is the greatest virtue of humanity. Ish, what is Ish? Shem Mishtani. That's a transient word. Lashon Nekeva Isha. It's expressed in the feminine as Isha. Kim Ish Lukachas Zeis, we said, right? It's the verse. Isha means okay. So it's feminine. Lashon Rabbi Menashim has a plural. It has a plural form also. Shem Hameira Amatzav Adam Vegadlusai. It tells you this about his state. So his states are transient. Therefore, there's transience in the grammar associated with the word. Ish, Isha, Anashim. Kol echad lefi inyanei. Everyone has its own experience of this. V'tamid kishareitz l'tar b'kasav ma'ilasa adam k'shmishtamshim b'teir ish. Me, some chol ish sar v'shefet aleinu. Ish has to do. Okay, that seems to contradict what we just said directly, because here it says ish sar v'shefet, administering. But maybe that's why it has to specify ish sar v'shefet. Here it says every place it says. Okay, we just found a counterexample in the Israeli quotes. I don't understand that. Kihu teira hameira amailis han niknas ba'adam. These are acquired qualities of man. The keira masim. Even the Barakan Shekani Higdil Hagidol Kiyadu Hu Be'ikar B'midas Kanasa Ben Yud Gimel Nikra Ish Sheken Hinu Bar Das Kalema Shes Sichloi Yashav V'Kelim. A man means when you've affected your character, you're able to control your characters. Not a child probably can have some ideas of values. He values candy or whatever it is, right? But until those ideas are expressed through he can withhold himself or something like that, he's not a person. That takes till you're like 13. Then there's a gever, means hiskavros. Hashem darcha likbeish. A gever is a zachar, is called as gever, because his way is to conquer. V'ken ma yisayin adam l'chai gever al chatav sheyachol ligbar al yitzroi v'lo yachlachtei. A gever is someone who has the power to not sin. I don't know if he accomplishes it. V'ken Hashem mitzad gever kainana, which is the verse we quoted the other day. From Hashem, the steps of man are directed. Shafshu chayshev shei hainu gever miskaber bal shlita ala tzadav. He directs his own steps. I love ladas. He has to know shirak Hashem mitzad gever kaninu. V'hu mamash kasuv kan. So Hashem is the one who's guiding you. It takes humility to achieve it. To be a gibor al yitzray. The challenge, maybe, rather, is to know that Hashem is the one that's guiding you. You're not you don't know where to go. Okay? Let's face it. It comes from Hashem. You just open yourself up to divine direction, and hopefully you're smart enough to tap into that somehow. And then Hashem echsaran. And Hashem means lacking. Who Shem ish b'tesevas nun. It's the ish with a nun. Hameirel haktana, which indicates here being small. It's one of those letters that has a small and a longer form. The mem nun tav. I think that's what it says. Hamantav. I'm not sure what that is. Hamantav. Mem nun tav. Why do they have an aleph there? And a vav at the end. I don't know. Kasuv, maybe that's just a way to remember to say it. But kasuv ma neshkis says Okay, beautiful verses, which I'm not going to translate right now because I'm supposed to be just thinking about davening now. Oh, I had all this thing about the hispaniness and davening. The first level of hispaniness is just to understand the idea. Then, before davening, you're supposed to appreciate the chayas of it. You have an idea, then you want to get the chayas of the idea, and then you want to get the godliness idea, and that happens actually in tefillah. So that will help me maybe know at least what the goal is. So we understand the idea. Then before davening, it has to be a process of hispaniness, of contemplation, where you have to get the chayas of it. Okay. The chayas of it you have to maintain. Maybe the ideas of it, you're davening, you're saying other things. The chayas of it you want to carry through, but then there's the godliness that's even beyond that. It's like, godliness is probably the bittul you achieve in Shemana Esrei. And you're just totally nullified. You're just filled up with godliness. And it comes from the hispaniness of, it's all one ladder. You have an idea, you have purity of thought. Has a pure idea that has a godly idea. So it's God's Torah that you understand, so you could get to God through that. If you want to understand someone, look at what he does. And you'll understand the person. So how else are you going to know the person from what he says? Okay, maybe he's not even Teicha Kabare. He's not inside out. But what he does, look what someone does. See if he's a good person, but what he does. Okay, everyone have a blessed, awesome day. Oh, so we just wanted to finish that off. So therefore, you have to have the chayas of it. You have the idea and the chayas as a preface to davening, the hispaniness. When you contemplate that, you have to be inspired by it. Your body has to be animated by it. And then the godliness is, now I'm just ready to receive from that. I'm going to totally nullify myself to the godliness inherent to that teaching. So through as I was saying before, that when you understand the person from his deeds, or from his actions, from his knowledge, from his wisdom. Okay, here we're talking about Torah, so I just slugged myself up. I just argued against myself. But we're connecting to an idea, which you know through the Torah, and you're explaining so first the idea, then the chayas, and then the godliness. Whose idea was that? Who's the vitality? Who are you excited for? It's not about you anymore at that point. It becomes totally, okay, now since I not only know you, and not only do I feel you, but I'm going to appreciate who you are, which is Einon Mavadai, the highest level, the Adam, the Neshama of davening. Look up my early videos where I go into depth about that. Okay, when you're alone in silence, you know that you are being seen. Okay, that is an awesome idea. That's like the Zayar that I said about when a person goes on a journey, they take their Vesherter with them spiritually, if they show integrity while they're on the journey. So you're being seen by the highest and best aspect of yourself. The crown. The crown. The part of you that you want to lift up higher than you, higher than your head, the crown. The lion's tail that you want to lift up higher than you. Because you recognize how precious it is. That this is the whole purpose. The Dirbat Tachtainim, the other, is the whole purpose. That's what God recognizes in you. So that's the aspect of you that is with you, if you're worthy. Have a great day.